In honor of the upcoming May 6th coronation of King Charles III, we would like to do a few English-inspired dishes for you, culminating in a traditional English tea. Actually, they have several different teas in England: afternoon tea, high tea, and something called elevenses. And that's with scones or biscuits, and of course that iconic cup of Earl Grey tea. A nice cup of tea. Welcome to another episode of Sunday Dinners with Tina. Decadent as luxuriously self-indulgent. That is absolutely the best descriptor of one of the most beloved delicacies in the world. Cheesecake. Thank you for joining me on another glorious Sunday. There are many famous cheesecake bakeries in North America, and those who can't resist digging their forks into this beloved dessert may assume that cheesecake traces its origins there. In fact, cheesecake traces its origins to the ancient Greeks. After the Roman conquests of Greece, their name for this type of cake was placenta. Not that kind, thank you very much. This cake was baked on a pastry base or sometimes inside of a pastry case. However, New Yorkers say that cheesecake was not really cheesecake until it got an Empire State of Mind, a makeover in the 1900s. New York dairyman William Lawrence accidentally invented cream cheese in 1872 while trying to recreate a soft French cheese known as Neufchâtel. That little mistake would inadvertently revolutionize cheesecake recipes. And to him, I say, maraming salamat from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so for our cheesecake bars, we're going to need the following ingredients. 20 sheets of the digestives. These are English cookies, or 3 cups of graham crackers, crumbled. 4 tablespoons of granulated sugar, or in my case I'm using stevia, and 10 tablespoons of melted butter. And that's for the crust. Now for our filling, we're going to need 32 ounces of cream cheese. Now, I would suggest to use full fat, or Neufchâtel, which is French for cream cheese, because it has all the fat. It has full fat. I would suggest you use that. Also, we're going to need 2/3 cups of granulated sugar or stevia, and 4 large eggs. Now this is worth its weight in gold nowadays. So 4 large eggs will go into our batter. And we're going to need 8 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and 1.5 tablespoons of vanilla extract, 1/4 cup of lemon juice, and with that, 2 tablespoons of lemon zest. Okay, and with that, we're going to mix in 3 cups of fresh blueberries. Now we're going to preheat our oven to 320 degrees. Okay, now we need to make sure to place your shelf in the middle of the oven. So I'm going to check that right now. Make sure your shelf is in the middle of the oven so the heat is evenly distributed. Okay, so first let's make the cheesecake crust. I was planning to use digestives for this, but unfortunately I can't find any in our beautiful state of Montana. So I'm going to use graham crackers today. But really any type of sweet crackers will do. Now prepare your sheet pan by lightly spraying them, or lightly spraying the pan, the bottom of it with baking spray, then line it with parchment paper with the extras hanging out. So, and this is to make it easier to lift the bars out once it's cooled down. Okay. Okay, so we're going to break up the biscuits roughly by hand and pulse them through. Before mixing your butter. Butter is the glue that will hold the crust together. So just break them off. And then you just pulse it through. Put too much. Then you just add your butter. Like I said, this is the glue that will hold the crust together. Just So we're going to take our prepared pan and just pour your crust in and just make sure that it's evenly layered. And just press it to the bottom of the pan. Okay, now press it into the cake pan. Now some people like to press the crumbs all the way up the sides of the pan. Now you can make it easier on yourself by using something round with a flat base and straight walls, like a measuring cup. See, and you can just use that to press the crumbs into the pan, making sure that the crumbs, so see now I messed that up, but just make sure that the crumbs are distributed evenly. Okay, so you can also put this in an oven for maybe just about 8 minutes just to set it up. Remember, biscuit walls look really fragile, but they're actually pretty sturdy once it's cool. So, but you can put it in the oven for 8 minutes before you put your filling in. That way it's more stable that way, okay? Okay, so now we're gonna mix our blueberry cheesecake filling. We're gonna be using our stand mixer with the paddle to beat the cream cheese until it's just smooth. That's why I like using this big industrial thing. No longer than 20 seconds on speed 4. Do not aerate filling too much. It causes cracks as it bakes. So, and also, I do not use the spreadable cream cheese. I use the block cheese instead. They're too soft. The spreadable cream cheese is just too soft for this. So make sure that you use the block cheese. Okay? Also to add our flour. Okay, we're going to beat that for about 5 seconds more. Again, this is speed 4. It's just until it's incorporated, okay? And then to that, we're going to add our vanilla. And now I'm adding some sour cream. This is about a half a cup of sour cream. It's just to cut down on the sweetness and the richness of it. It gives it a bit more depth. Add our sugar, and of course this is actually stevia. As you know, I use stevia instead of sugar. It doesn't really have any difference as far as consistency, but of course it's healthier and it doesn't raise your blood sugar too much. Okay? And to that, we are going to, I have 2 tablespoons of lemon zest here. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon zest. Beat until just incorporated. Okay, now to that, okay, so I completely forgot. We're going to also add a 1/4 cup of lemon juice to this. And then we're going to add our eggs. And I use whole eggs. And add them one at a time. And make sure you incorporate, you mix it in. Beat for about 5 seconds in between each egg. Okay, now once it's smooth, you can stop it. Don't overbeat this because it is just until it's smooth. Again, do not aerate it too much. It might cause breaks as it's baking. So we'll just check it, make sure that it's all incorporated. I think we're gonna pulse this for like about 10 more seconds, I would say. Okay. Now we're gonna put this into our prepared pan and we're gonna get ready to bake. Okay, so here is our batter. And now we're going to stir in some blueberries that we have prepared. And this is about 2 cups of frozen blueberries. Well, they're unthawed now. You could use fresh if you wanted to, but frozen is fine too. There's no need to unthaw, otherwise it bleeds through when you add it in and you'll end up with a purple batter, purple cheesecake, which actually is fine. It still tastes the same. I love purple foodstuffs though, because it's like purple yam, or what we call ube in the Philippines. It just has a really bright, engaging color. So I love purple yam or purple blueberries. So, okay. So you just add this in and incorporate it into your batter. Okay. And this is our prepared crust that we've already made. And all you have to do is just pour it in to your crust. Make sure it's even. Get all that cheese, that cake batter in. Don't waste anything. Okay. Just make sure that it's even laid out over your crust. Okay. Now this goes into your oven, your preheated oven, for about 70 minutes. And then we're gonna cool this down with the oven door open for about 2 hours. Okay, and that's ready. So we're gonna pop this into the oven. And we're just gonna wait. Like I said, 70 minutes into your oven, and the top should be very light, golden brown, and very nearly perfectly flat. It should jiggle slightly when you gently shake the pan. Okay, but it's perfectly fine. So we're gonna leave that in to cook for about 70 minutes, and I'll see you in a minute, or 70 minutes. Okay, so we have about 25 more minutes for our cheesecake to bake. Now let's make our blueberry sauce. Okay, so take a 21-ounce can of blueberry toppings. You will stir 3/4 of the canned toppings into a saucepan. Give it a stir. Then you take 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Put that in. 1/2 cup of sugar or stevia. Stir that in. And 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And just stir it in. And just keep stirring this until about 7 minutes. Simmer it for 7 minutes until the blueberries have completely broken down. So that, about 7 minutes or so should be enough. Okay, and then to that, we will add our corn flour, and you mix that with 2 tablespoons of water. That's 1.5 teaspoons of corn flour with 2 tablespoons of water, and you stir that in. And this is to thicken the sauce, and it should thicken it a bit quickly. You don't want your sauce to be too runny though, okay? So just keep stirring. Like I said, until your sauce is broken down. And then after that, you just stir in your remaining blueberries. And your sauce should be syrupy, actually. You don't want it to be runny when you cut into the cake. You don't want it to just be all over the place. But you want it to be thick. Just a little thick, not too runny. Okay? Now once that cools down, just give it a stir, and then we'll add the thickness to it. Maybe it needs a bit of water, just to make sure that it's oozing. It's a perfect oozing consistency. Okay?